Today's shave reminded me why routine matters. Ariana and Evans Tobacco Cashmere with my Hoosier Latheworks Joker brush and the Rockwell 6S in gold with a Tatra blade. After shave, I took it easy today. I had the Hulk juice with Duke Cannon. And then I just, for a scent, I thought, I don't want to go too heavy. So I used Razor Emporium, or is it Razor Emporium? I guess it's Razor Emporium. King R Emporium. I'm assuming it's made by Phoenix. I don't know. I just assumed it was because they're buddies. Anyway, it's a good scent. Very good barbershop-y scent. Classic. All right. Why routine matters. Well, last night, just around 11 o'clock, I got to hair up my butt to go do the cheap shave challenge. I was challenged by Yarden Mataita, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Jordan Shaves. We'll call him Jordan. I was tagged by Jordan to do a cheap shave challenge. And what that is use your cheapest garbage to shave with. So I found a cheap Kai razor at the supermarket for like $1. It was $1.12 to be exact. It's just this cheap plastic Kai razor with 5 disposable cartridges. Twin blade. My soap of choice was this stuff called Barbas in a tube. It was a tube soap. Tube cream, I should say. And I decided to keep it really simple because I didn't have any cheap brushes. Well, relatively, like for example, a Yaki brush isn't as expensive as a Grizzly Bay, granted, but it's still not cheap. Okay, so instead of using a brush, I decided to hand lather. And that was kind of interesting. I think I probably would have done better had I built the lather up in my hands and wiped it on. But what I did was I started it on my hands and got it on there, and then you'll see, wiped it on there, and then I started slowly adding water and doing. It was okay. It was nice and slick, but I think it probably would have made a better lather if I had kept it in my hands and worked it, and then wiped it on my face. Either way, it was slick enough. It did its job. Did what it needed to do. I shaved over here, and you don't see any red bumps or anything like that, so we're good. So I did the challenge last night. If you want to check that out, the video is the one just before this one. And the Kai blade was fine. It wasn't the most comfortable shave, but I'm gonna lay that on the lather, the lathering condition, more than the blade itself, because I got a nice BBS on this cheek. Now I only did one pass, except on this cheek. I went against the grain on this one just to see, and yeah, I got nice BBS. Anyway, this morning I thought, well, I just shaved, 8 hours ago? Not even that. 6 hours ago? But I only did a down pass, so I still had plenty to shave off. So I used the Rockwell 6S with a Tatra blade on plate 5. But I made sure that I didn't go too hard on this cheek because I'd had BBS just a few hours ago. But I kept to my routine, did everything the way I usually do it. The only thing is, on this cheek, I just did like once over, and that's it. I didn't go back and try to buff it or anything like that. And that worked. I'm nice and smooth this morning. I have no achy breaky heart on my neck. I feel just fine. Feel very good. So have you ever had one of those shaves where the routine just sets the day? It happens. And I find that if I stick to a routine, things do tend to work out a little better. Now, the other thing that I had was bowl lathering with that A&E soap, A&E cream. I guess it's kind of a crope. It's not as creamy as the Ascot and Tweed, but it's not as solid as, say, Woods and Spices. This is a little like in between, so we'll say a crope. Great scent. Great scent. Wasn't very slick, but I'm going to blame that on, things like that. I tend to blame myself before I blame the product. I did bowl lather, and I didn't use a whole lot of soap. So, yeah. Probably if I had a tub of it and I was able to load heavy, it'd probably be very nice. But great scent, that tobacco cashmere. So, I may get one of those. Right now, I just have a sample of it. All right, anyway, guys, we're hitting that 6-minute mark. It's about time to go. I want to thank you guys for hanging out today. If there's anything you want to add, just let me know. All right, and I guess we'll call that a shave. And you all stay smooth.